Welcome back. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you were doing something this weekend with people you enjoy, doing activities you enjoy, and filling your life with all of the love and happiness that you can handle. I hope that you are really excited going into this week. You got rest this weekend and got yourself ready for the upcoming week, which I genuinely hope is the best week of your life. And I'm thrilled and honored that you would spend even a piece of it here with me here on the podcast. Now, this week we're going to be talking about being more optimistic and how to become more optimistic. Optimism is an unbelievable skill for people who have strong mental health. And I want you to be optimistic about everything in your life. So this week we're going to be talking about how to become optimistic. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. Now, optimism is really important because it actually plays a role in how things manifest in your life. So think about if you want to achieve something in your life, like I want to make $1 million, or I want to run a successful company, or I want to lose weight, I want to get a degree, I want to write a book, whatever it is. If you say something like I want to write a book and then I don't think I can do it and it's too hard and it's not going to be enough and it's not, then you are immediately getting in your own way and you're allowing your mindset to set you back. What optimism does is it's like, I want to write a book and I know I can do it. I believe it's possible. I believe I can achieve it. And if you can stay optimistic while you pursue a big aim, then your ability to manifest that thing goes way up and your chances of that thing becoming a reality goes way up. And most people don't understand how important mindset is to be able to accomplish your biggest dreams, your wildest goals, and everything in your life that you want to achieve. They get so focused on other stuff, but mindset really matters. And if there's one thing you can have to make yourself successful is develop an optimistic mindset, because that is the game changer. Probably the thing in my life right now I'm the most optimistic about is what's happening in my life in the entertainment industry. I've had a lot of success in the psychotherapy industry. I've written books. I've traveled the world. I've impacted many lives. And it makes me want to continue to impact people's lives and make an even bigger and an even more massive difference. So I'm working on a TV project. I'm working on a podcast, exclusive podcast deal, all of it to be able to really impact people's lives. And I'm super optimistic about this happening. But it's not easy. Like I've been working on these things for the past year or more. The TV project more than a year, the podcast project about a year. And I am very much ready for this to really take off. But we live in a world where it's so hard to be optimistic. People call me, is that deal still happening? And I can hear the negativity. I can hear the hesitation. I can hear the doubt in them. But part of my job is to maintain a mindset where I'm not actually thinking about the doubt, where I'm in fact thinking about the achievement of the outcome and being optimistic that I can do it, because I know one day I can do it. Now, how do I do that? By relying on my knowledge that I have previously accomplished things that I once didn't think was possible. By relying on my knowledge that I have previously done things that I know puts me ahead of where I ever thought I could be. So now when I'm facing this hard challenge, when I'm facing this difficult task, and I think to myself, but can I do it? I remind myself, of course you can, because you've done so many other difficult things leading up until this one. There have been so many things that you didn't think was real, or you didn't think was possible, or you didn't think would occur, and yet they did. So that reminder helped me stay optimistic, even in the face of obstacles. And in the projects that I'm working on, there are a bazillion obstacles. There are a bazillion things that could get in the way. There are a bazillion things that make this more challenging. But there's also a bazillion reasons for me to believe that it's possible. I mean, sometimes I just remind myself. I remember I was watching TV the other day and I saw this brand new TV show come on. And I was like, you know what? They've been through the same process I've been through, that I'm going through. They've been through the process of many meetings and creating video content and meeting with executives. Like, they've been through this. Every TV show you see on TV takes years to go into making. It takes a ton of people creating time in their schedule, budgets, all kinds of stuff to get the TV show made. And I'm not any different from them, which means I got to go through the same struggle. And if they could do it, I could do it. And it's literally that simple for me. Sometimes optimism is just reminding myself that if someone else could do something hard, then I can too. Someone is going to have the biggest TV show next year, the year after that, the year after that. Why couldn't it be me? And that's how you maintain your optimism. So what are you optimistic about? And if you could think of anything that you're looking forward to, I just want you to think about, what are you looking forward to and how can you be even more optimistic about it? I'm going to tell you something about me that surprises many people. Surprises them so much, actually, that most people don't believe me when I say this. And B, is actually hard for me to admit. And that is, I have, throughout the early part of my life, almost all of the early part of my life, was a pessimistic, anxious person who just never thought things were going to work out well. I literally thought that just life was not going to work out well for me. My home life was not going super great. My father was really angry, aggressive, overly aggressive, to the point of abusive man. And I just felt like I had bad luck and nothing was working out for me. And now I write books about being positive and optimistic. I'm known around the world for doing this type of therapy that's about being positive and optimistic. And that transition was intentional. How I went from being so pessimistic to now being optimistic was an intentional transition. I'm going to talk to you about that and the difference it has made in my life today. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie, and I literally made that shift because I didn't want to live that way anymore. Like, when you perceive your life as negative, and when you perceive that nothing is going to work out for you, and when you perceive that no matter what you do, you can't get ahead, that's your lived experience. And one day I realized I didn't want that to be my lived experience anymore. Like, I didn't know to call it optimism or not. I was 19 years old when I started working on myself in this way, but I didn't know this is optimism versus pessimism. I didn't know it was positive mindset versus negative mindset. I didn't know it was an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Like, I didn't really think about it in terms of those terms, of any of those terms. I really was just thinking, I just want to be happier and enjoy my life more. So I did this thing, and I want to tell you guys about it because anybody who does this thing will experience a benefit too. I did this thing, and that is, I started focusing on the things about my life that I enjoyed. Now, here's the secret of life. I'm going to tell you what it is right here. The secret of life is every single person has things happening in their life that are challenging and things happening in your life that are rewarding. We all have good things going on in our life. We all have bad things going on in our life. So that means if you're the pessimistic person looking around for negative things, you're going to find them. And if you're the optimistic person looking around for positive things and signs that things will work out for you, you're going to find them too. Now, I didn't know that at the time. I was just a 19-year-old kid that was struggling with depression, and I wanted to enjoy life more. And a logical thing for me was just to focus on things that I enjoyed. So let me give you an example, or focus on things that I was proud of, that was good about me or whatever. Let me give you an example. During my pessimistic days, I remember going to college. I was in Massachusetts at the time. And this guy, his mom would send him money. And this is before Zelle and PayPal and transferring instantly and all that. So his mom would mail him a card with money in it once a week. And I had nothing. And I remember feeling bad about myself that I have nothing. And some of the kids at this school have everything. And this one particular guy, his mom would send him a card with $50 in it every single week. And by this time that I'm working on myself and I no longer want to be depressed and feel bad about my life and feel bad about my circumstances, I started realizing, you know what? I don't need to focus on what everybody else has. I just need to focus on my own gratitude that, yep, I'm not in a situation where I've got somebody sending me money every week, but I am in a situation where I made it to college. Like, I am actually in college. I did it. I did this thing that a lot of people don't do, a lot of people can't do, a lot of people won't do. I am in college. I did it. And what I noticed was the more I appreciated the good things about my life, the better I felt and the more good things I began to notice. It started like this cascade of goodness in a life that I once thought was completely filled with difficulty. And the thing that I want to tell you is all of you can do that. I was just a dumb 19-year-old kid who started doing this very good habit completely accidentally because I wanted to like life more. And if I could do that, imagine what you could do with some intentionality, wisdom, training. It was a game changer. So that's the gift I want to give you. If you want to live a happy life, focus on the things in your life that you're already pleased with, that are evidence that things could work out for you, and you're going to continue to find more pieces of that information. So I want you to practice doing that in your life and watch what it does to your outlook for your life. When people are more optimistic, they tend to have stronger and better mental health. Some of the reasons for that are oftentimes mental health issues are created or exacerbated by how you are feeling at the time and what you are perceiving. So if you are in a negative space and you're looking around for reasons to be anxious and nervous, you're going to continue to find reasons to be anxious and nervous. But if you can put yourself in an optimistic frame of mind and feel good about yourself and feel good about your surroundings, your mental health will improve. So what we're going to talk about today is exactly why that is and what things you can start to put in place in your life to turn your life around right away. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie, and I think the easiest way for me to make this point is to use my own life as an example, because I remember when my mental health was in peril, and I remember when my mental health was struggling. And there were definitely good things about my life. When I look back throughout the time of my life, both things were true. I was in a very difficult circumstance, and my father was a very angry, aggressive, abusive man. But the other thing was true is I had a lot of fun. I lived right across the street from my best friend, who's still my best friend to this day. I played sports, and I was very good at sports. I had a lot of fun doing it, and there were lots of really good things that I just wasn't really paying attention to. So as a consequence, my mental health suffered. But truly, it was in a moment I actually decided I want to start paying attention to the good things in my life. And my life turned around immediately, because once I started looking for good things, I started finding them. And the truth is, they were there the whole time. I just didn't notice it. And when I started finding these good things, it would lead to me discovering more good things, and ultimately would lead to me having a better outlook on life. So if you're in life right now and you're in a space where nothing seems to be working and you can't see that much further, I'm going to tell you the thing that you can start doing immediately. I'm going to tell you two things that you can start doing immediately to turn your life around. The first one is start looking around your life for the good bits. Even though there's something difficult happening, even though you're going through hard moments, even though you're going through hard things, I promise you, if you look, you will find good things in your life. And the second thing I want you to do is create things in your life that you can look forward to. And sometimes it's really small. Like, I've had a really long week at work, not bad, but just a long week at work with a lot going on. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is getting to a place in my home where I can just relax and sit and play this new video game that I bought called Madden 2023. I don't get to play video games very often, but when I do, I enjoy it. So I am really looking forward to getting home and just relaxing and playing Madden 2023. So literally, it's just having little things in your calendar, little things in your day, little things daily to look forward to, create that sense of optimism. Or you can have big things, like, next week is Christmas, and so many kids right now are looking forward to the last day of school as they lead up to the Christmas break. They're looking forward to getting their toys and the gifts and the things they're going to have during Christmas break. I remember being a kid, and I look forward to Christmas, just having time off from school, having snowball fights with my best friend who lived across the street. Like, literally these little moments. Or they can be big moments. We're going to Disney World or whatever. They can be big moments. But having these things in your life to look forward to make all of the difference in the world. And too often we don't do that. We don't prioritize those things that create optimism. We don't prioritize those things that we look forward to. We don't prioritize those moments that we should prioritize. We don't prioritize those things that make us feel good. And as a consequence, they don't happen. Now, we put all of our have-tos on our calendar. We put, I got to go to work on this day. I got meetings on these days. We put all of that stuff in our calendars, but we don't put the things in our calendars that facilitate our mental health. We don't put the things in our calendars that we look forward to that create a sense of optimism. And I'm telling you, once you do that, you have these moments, little small moments. Like I said, I'm going home today and I'm looking forward to playing a video game. Or sometimes big moments. Next week is Christmas, and I'm super excited about the things I'll get to do in and or around Christmas. But you can do that. You can shift that. You can change that. And once you start prioritizing those things, your mental health will improve. So I challenge you to start putting little things in your days, in your weeks, in your months, and in your years that will allow you to look forward to things and watch the impact it has on your ability to be optimistic, and then watch the impact that has on your ability to have stronger mental health. Optimism can be defined by the stubborn belief that if I keep working in the way that I'm working, if I keep moving in the direction in which I am moving, if I keep going in the way that I am going, something good or positive is going to happen for me. That's optimism. And it's really important that you remember that it's the stubborn belief, because there's always going to be information, feedback. There's always going to be something in your pathway to make it more challenging. But optimism is defined by my ability to hold on to that positive belief regardless of what's going on around me. And I watched a documentary recently that exemplified this. And it's about someone that you already have heard about, that you know a lot about. For me, it was one of the greatest examples of this that I have ever seen. And I want to talk about it here today. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie, and the subject of this documentary is Michael Jordan, who is one of the most successful athletes and business people ever. One of the most successful athletes and businessmen that has ever lived. And this documentary, it's called The Last Dance. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. And it goes over his career. Now, in college, Michael Jordan was known as Mike. And they have footage from him in college talking about how he wants to be this big name in sports. He wants to be really successful. He wants to be the best basketball player ever. And the person interviewing him responds as if like, man, those are big, lofty goals. And he said, but why not me? Like, why can't Mike Jordan be known as this big thing? And then he goes on to have this amazing career. He wins all these championships. He wins all these scoring titles and cements himself as a legend in the basketball world. And many people refer to him as the greatest of all time, though some people are crazy and think it's LeBron James when it's clearly Michael Jordan. But that is another conversation for another day. And at the end of this documentary, it talks about the last championship he won and how he was with his teammates, and he shared a poem that he writes with his teammates. And then at the end of the documentary, you know, Michael Jordan is sitting on a couch being interviewed by whoever like filmed the documentary, and he says, it started with hope. All optimism starts with hope. Hope for change, hope for difference, hope for success, hope for progress. All of it starts with hope. And if you can hold on to that hope while you're going through the obstacles and the challenges, while you're dealing with adversaries, if you can hold on to that hope, then you are simultaneously holding on to your optimism. But it's hard. Like, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, it is really, really hard. It is really, really difficult to hold on to hope while it seems like everything is against you. I'll be the first one to tell you that it's really, really hard to hold on to hope. It's really, really hard to hold on to that ability to believe that if I keep working, if I keep going, if I keep grinding, if I keep showing up, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be everything that I dream and set out to be if I keep pushing. You know, Michael Jordan is a billionaire. He was the greatest athlete on the planet for a long time, but it wasn't an accident. Because he had the level of hope and stubbornness to pursue that hope, he took actions to support it. Like, he trained and he worked hard and he did all of these things to make that success happen in his life. And you can only do that when you have the requisite amount of hope, when you have the right amount of stubbornness, when you have the right amount of faith and belief, and you believe that if I just keep working at this, I will make it on the other side and I will be successful. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest example that we've ever seen of an optimistic mindset, because you can believe in yourself in spite of many challenges, and that level of self-belief will carry you very, very far. I know it's hard to believe, but the journey really does start with hope. And if you can hold on to that hope, you make the optimism go up. So my question for you is, what are you hoping for? And what are you willing to do to hold on to that hope? Being optimistic can help you overcome challenges in life. And I was thinking about how I was going to make that point in this episode. I was thinking about how I was going to share that. And my team was encouraging me, like, do you have any personal examples of your life? And to be honest with you, I have countless personal examples of how being optimistic got me through life. I actually think my natural disposition leads towards optimism. I don't do it perfectly and I don't have it right, but there were times in my life way before I learned anything about psychology or human behavior or psychotherapy or any of that, where the act of being optimistic really, really helped me. And I'm going to talk about that here today. So welcome back to the aha moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to be your very best self. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. So look, optimism has helped me deal with some difficult things in my childhood. It's helped me deal with some difficult things emotionally. It's helped me deal with some difficult things as I've navigated through life time and time again. But I'm going to pick one example to talk to you about what I mean by optimism and how important it is. Like, optimism is just the belief that if I continue doing what I'm doing, things will work out in my favor. And one of the biggest challenges that I faced was starting a therapy practice, starting a business. I didn't have any resources really to go to. Like, I didn't have any mentors, and there weren't a lot of people who had done it before me. Like, I really had to figure this out to a large degree on my own. My family is not a family of entrepreneurs. I just so happened to be in the first graduating class of my graduate school, so there was nobody who graduated before me that had done this, that I could follow them. So I had to kind of set it up on my own. And I can remember I got an office and I drove around this area called Keller, Texas, and I found an office that met the parameters of me and the woman that I was going to be sharing office space with. And I didn't have any clients, but I had these big bills. I had to pay for this office. And I remember sitting in my office, and I had a big stack of business cards and a computer. My office was decorated like there was furniture in there, but I had a big stack of business cards and a computer. And I thought to myself, okay, I've got to figure this out. So I started driving around to local businesses, doctor's offices, dentist offices, chiropractic offices, hair salons, everywhere I could think of. And I went and dropped off my business cards. And then I sat online and I started doing searches for terms that I thought people would use if they were looking for me, like marriage counselor in Keller, Texas, or how to fix my relationship, or overcoming addiction. I started all these terms that I thought people might use to find the services that I offer. And I would do searches, and then I would make sure that my website could be found in relationship to those searches. And before too long, I started having clients call me, and before too long, people started reaching out to me. Before too long, I had a pretty successful therapy practice, and I was able to maintain it to this day. I mean, I still see clients. It's no longer my primary source of income, but I certainly still see clients. And one time somebody asked me, how did you set up a practice very quickly? A lot of people really struggle to set up a therapy practice, and here you are. Yours has taken off really quickly. Like, how did you do that? And I thought about it, and I said, I never thought about failure. I just was focused on moving forward. I was just focused on, if I keep doing these things, I'm eventually going to get the outcome that I want. Someone asked me, what would you have done if it failed? And I honestly just forgot to think about that. Now, optimism isn't just not thinking about failure, but it's being so all in that if I keep doing the things I'm currently doing, if I keep pushing in this direction, if I keep moving properly, then I am going to be able to achieve the aim that I want to achieve. And I genuinely believe that's how I established my practice, and that's how I established it much quicker than the average person that was struggling to do so, than some of my peers and some of my colleagues out into the field. Now, I share that to say, it doesn't really matter what your aim is. Maybe it's overcoming a problem. Maybe it's overcoming an addiction. Maybe it's starting a business, losing weight, being a better spouse, whatever it is. Focus on the steps to get you there with the belief that if I keep doing this, I will achieve the aim, and you are significantly more likely to get to where you want to be.